Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks. It's the show where we talk about pop culture things that we like. This is episode 51. We just had our big landmark episode last week. My name is John. I am joined again by Andrea. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, John. How about yourself?
Good. Not bad.
Good.
How's your week been? Pretty warm.
Warmer than people in Texas, unfortunately.
Which is an odd thing to say, right?
Right. Yeah. They're not having a great time of it. I feel like I should, I don't know, like send some, cold weather gear down there and be like, hey, this is some stuff that'll help you get through.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They'll make it, I guess. But
yes,
yeah, no, not a good deal.
They'll figure it out. But yeah, what is happening? Texas is Minnesota. Minnesota, well, it's not Texas.
Nope.
I was gonna say everything's all flipped around, but no, not really. Texas is just taking over, and we're becoming more, I don't know, Arctic or something like that.
Well, chaos ensues when people aren't prepared for the odd, more unusual events. It's just like when you get anywhere down south, all of a sudden you get a little snow or a little ice. They don't have the systems in place to handle it. Like here, I mean, we're used to having a stockpile of salt and sand and the trucks to hit the road and go out and do that. And when you don't have that infrastructure ready, because why would you? It's uncommon,
Right.
then you get problems. Even up here, a lot of people don't have generators.
Very true.
So, I mean, why would someone that lives, in Texas bother having a generator most of the time when, I mean, they'd use it so seldom that, you really need to have some upkeep and run it a little bit or whatever, just for the heck of it, or it's not going to work when you need it anyhow. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I still remember, I want to say it's going on 2 years now, ago when, our furnace went out in our house and we had nothing. So we were literally, in our house, no heat, just, wearing snowsuits, sleeping in sleeping bags. We built a fire in our fireplace to keep warm. It was very old school. And we had, who would have guessed that it would go out and it would be, a couple days before we could get it fixed. And those couple of days, it was like, man, I wish we'd been more prepared for something like this, because it was pretty brutal.
Harry Allen says his was out last week. How long was it out for?
Man, Alan, I feel that pain, especially if it was like any overnight time. Yeah, 2 to 3 days. Yeah, I feel that. That's rough. Yep.
Did you use?
Yeah, ours was in the winter too, and it was like
you got to use
at
a sterno
least
heater.
freezing. Yep, space heater.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. It was just, it's crazy. I mean, you think of these things and you just always think they're going to be there and they're going to be working, and then you're hit with the realities when they're not. So I can't imagine obviously what people in Texas are going through, and I do feel badly, and I hope everyone down there is okay. But yeah, pretty rough.
Yep. Well, they definitely don't have it as rough as the children of Promised Neverland, I have to say. And we both started watching that anime this week, in season two form. So
those kids not only have to worry about survival, but also, monsters hunting them. So, at least that's not a reality for Texans.
Yep. Although wild boar hunting is dangerous, but I guess you're asking for it. So, I got plenty of things to watch this week. It was, Valentine's over the weekend and stuff. So we had our anime home con, which for people that don't know, we often would go to anime conventions and then fill the space in between with our own home versions of anime conventions. And so get all kinds of ramen and make rice and different toppings and snacks and all this stuff. And then everybody gets a turn to watch some anime, pick some. And so then all the day. So that's what we did the day before Valentine's. And
sounds like a good way to spend the day.
Yeah. So we got, we kept a theme to love romance kind of theme.
Ooh, all right. Did you find anything good?
Yes, we did. There's a lot of good stuff. But preceding this, we had finished watching what is available presently of The Promised Neverland season 2. Mm-hmm. And there was only a few episodes, I think 5, and it seems like a mid-season break now. Yep. But I'm enjoying it thus far. From what I've read of the manga, they have seems like they changed some stuff. But it started staying very true. But yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm not far enough to know if it deviates from the manga yet. I'm only about 2.5 episodes in, although that's basically halfway, I guess, for the first batch that they've released. And so I'm still in the staying very true to what's going on in the manga, which I've also read thanks to you and Ashley, actually. So thank you for that. But yeah, so far so good. I like that they're kind of picking up, right where they left off, pace wise. They're like moving ahead, giving us new information while not moving too quickly. There's always that feeling when you pick up a season of, you have to hit the ground running, but you don't want to be running too fast that like you can't give people a beat to sort of remember things that happened last season and be like, oh, right, this is where we are. This is what we're doing. Yep. This is, where we're going. So.
Yep. Yeah. It has not, for me thus far, lived up to the highs of season 1, but I'm honestly not expecting that. We're just getting going, and maybe they're doing an episode a week. I don't know. I knew that this was coming out this year, and then we're looking through Funimation's available shows, and there it was. So if it's in the process of maybe there'll be a new one this week. I don't know, but
yeah, or maybe very well could be.
But
yeah,
So what's? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for anyone who's interested, it's also available on Hulu.
Yeah, that's what you were saying before the show. I can't believe it's never so much for the algorithm. I mean, it's never popped that up for us ever on there. So yeah,
that's funny that it wouldn't have. It didn't pop up for me either, which I thought it would have, but I mean, I searched it out because I was just looking for a platform to watch it, and so I was going through our current embarrassment of riches in access to streaming services, and Hulu was the place that I found it. So if anybody is interested, absolutely recommend the show. And if you've got Hulu or Funimation, you can watch it.
Yes. And then, other things we watched at the HomeCon. One of them then was for the love stuff. One was called Love is Hard for Otaku. And I forget what the first part of it was.
Oh, hey, I'm on screen. You're not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Where am I? You're in the I think we mentioned on a previous episode. We cosplayed as these characters.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yep, I'm Gilda for there.
Yep. It was Ashley put her outfit on a little bit for HomeCon.
Oh, good.
Enough for me to take pictures. So yeah. But yeah, Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku is one of the better shows that we watched this weekend. And it's it's a cute romance kind of show. It's pretty funny, but it's a little more on the tame side. It's like the characters are in their 20-somethings. They're not like 14, so it's taking place in the workplace anyhow versus in like middle school, high school. So
Sure.
you have that anyways, can have a little more in common with some of the characters. But yeah, it's cute. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And it's pretty short. It's a weird thing because it seems like they ran out of. Sounds like they got COVID happened and they're busy with other things or whatever. Because when the show, there's a clear season 1 ending, but on Amazon it does not list that, and then it like continues into season 2 basically for 2 episodes, and then just stops.
Interesting.
So it's clearly designed that they're going to make more.
Okay.
If it's going to happen or not, I don't know.
Okay.
But it's definitely worth a watch.
Okay.
And I'm sure you can continue it in the manga if you, if you so desired.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny.
No,
like I was just looking at some of these stills here, and I feel like some of the art style is trying to signal that it's older. Like you said, it's taking place in the workplace. These are 20-something adults rather than like 14-year-old kids. I feel like the longer drawn faces is always like an indication, whereas like kids and high schoolers and stuff like that always have the like shorter, rounder, like youthful faces, and then you have like the elongated drawing, and it's like, oh, this is an adult now.
Sure.
So
yeah, I mean, it if you're into you'd like it. I mean, I know.
Okay.
Like a bunch of the stuff you'd like. I know you'd enjoy it. It's funny, and you can relate to the characters in some way. In some ways, you're thinking, oh, I mean, they're very nerdy, or they're very otaku. I'm not that bad. But then on the other hand, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I do that, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fun.
Well, fun.
So that was a good one. Other shows we watched during it, we watched Sailor Moon Crystal for fun.
That's
Darling in the Franxx.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's one of your favorite shows, Crystal. Right?
Yeah. I picked that one just to to change it up a little bit, because I mean, when you do a theme that's love or romance themed, it's easy to get a lot of like rom-coms,
Yep.
A lot of rom-com anime. So.
And there's only so much you can watch before you gotta
nice
watch a little something else.
I think the theme went well, though. I think having a theme was kind of nice too. So
yeah.
And what else? There was like you cannot learn or something anime that was very funny. Okay. I should have had my program list or whatever. I wasn't actually thinking of going through what we all watched, but yeah, maybe I will bring that for next week and go through it again, get a little more anime talk in. So
bring a little show and tell.
Yeah, we can show off the program I made, so then you can. I
was gonna say
what you missed.
You guys put a lot of work into like making HomeCon very official, like printing up programs, and I remember one year we had badges and things like that. So we have contests and game breaks and viewing rooms. It's all very good. You guys have good production value, so you should show off your hard work.
Our internet's gotten better, so that helps.
That's
early
right.
years, our internet wasn't as good, so it was kind of iffy. We had like physical copies of some other shows just on backup. And then we did this year. This kind of new addition was having commercial breaks. So some of the shows, often halfway through they have their little like splash screen that leads to commercials and then comes back. So I would quick pause it and flip over on the Apple TV to Japanese commercials on YouTube.
Nice.
Hit play. We'd watch like four or five commercials and then go back and just add a little bit.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Production value, getting that ambiance in there. It's like the real thing.
Yeah. So, yep, it was good. And then I guess the other nerdery I've been up to.
Yeah.
The other otaku life I've been involved in is one pushing really hard to try to get the rest of my D&D world built. Don't think I'm going to make my deadline for enough content for tomorrow's session. And I told him I'm going to George R. Martin it, and it's whatever time it takes, is what it takes.
Hey, so, that's better than, Benny offing it.
Kennedy it. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Take your pick.
Just being like, well, I have the major bullet points, let's just zip on over here.
Yep. So I've been pushing a lot. I've come up with a lot of lore. It's really hard to stop thinking about, but it's been fun. And in between, and it's actually inspired me in different, like some ways. I can tell like I'm using it for influence. I finished the X-Men storyline, 10 of Swords. So that was a 22-part X-Men event, kind of spearheaded again from Jonathan Hickman's sort of revitalization of X-Men. And I really powered through that. I would give it probably, if I'm doing a 10 scale, a 7 out of 10.
I feel like you should do a 10 scale since it's 10 of Swords.
Oh, that's right. That's true. I should. There was a lot of really cool ideas in this. I like all the detail and the world building that they do. The art was pretty consistent. It is tough because it's a multi, book event. So it's spanning X-Force and X-Men and Cable and Marauders and it's all the different X-Men books, Excalibur. So it's tough to have art that's good enough or consistent enough between all of them, but it was pretty good. My one complaint, I guess, my biggest complaint, I should say, is that they didn't give enough time to each character in their battle scenarios, I'll say. I'm used to, in a way now, Japanese comics, where like a battle maybe several pages. So there's lots of frames of just a close-up of someone punching, and like you get the kinetic flow of the battle or the event or whatever. Whereas this is, I feel like a lot of Western comics like to do, here's a big spread, maybe over 2 pages, and here's all the action occurring. Yeah, here's one big thing, and there are these kind of like poster shots almost. But then it's sort of done. Like it's on to the next thing. So you can sit there and look at that and imagine it all, but none of it's like spent really being played out for you. So,
yeah, I would be highly disappointed in that as well, I think. Because there is something to be said about, like kind of seeing the whole field of battle. But then also getting up close and like seeing what is really happening on like a person to person level. Because if you just like sort of see, the landscape of everything, it does force you to sort of fill in the detail, like you said, of the flow of a battle, of what might be happening. If you have a few more pages, it feels more like a battle in terms of like you have to take the time to go through those pages, and it's almost like the time a fight might take. Whereas like if you just get this one, kind of larger, broader landscape, it's like, oh, okay, that was done. Good fight, everybody. Like that's not how fights work.
Yep. I mean, if you look at this image that's up right now, for video watchers here, the guy on the left, like this, before this is a close shot of his face, and then there's this one, but then that's kind of it that's involved, and so it's a cool shot and it's up pretty close and all this stuff, but then it kind of moves on to another part of something else, and that's fine when I get there's a lot going on, but this event kind of set up what you'd have in anime a lot is some sort of tournament. And so when I feel like the different challenges and battles and such in the tournament, when people don't get their moments, I don't know. I guess that's just disappointing, but But yeah, interesting nonetheless. It changed enough things, I guess, in the world to make it worthwhile. Enough casualties and changes in the world that will leave an impact in some way. So, yeah.
Good. A
I
meaningful
recommend
story
it.
then.
Yeah. Yep. That's about it. I'm just happy that X-Men had something good, and I'm going back and reading some more old X-Men now. And for the time being, I'm going to continue with the main line X-Men book. Hopefully, it's staying nice. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
But,
if you get tired of X-Men, you're gonna have some other comics from.
Oh yeah, foreshadowing. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
Just giving a little hint in case anybody's interested. I'm sort of interested, so
Yep.
there'll be some Batman, Superman talk in just a bit.
Yep. A shout out to Mike in the chat.
Hey, Mike.
Thanks for coming in, saying hey. We're just going over how our weeks have been, what's happening, what nerdery we've engaged in, and I've just rambled about my week and gonna see what you've been up to, other than Promised Neverland season 2. What else?
Really, honestly, not all that much other than Promised Neverland season 2. We're back on the house project train.
What?
Yeah, I know. It was a surprise
Last
to
minute.
us too. I know. We didn't really plan it, but so we've been talking for quite a while, probably since we moved in, which is about 5-6 years ago now. Which is crazy to say out loud and to think about. But we've been talking about getting wood floors in our downstairs and replacing the like horrible 80s like pilled shag carpet. I can't even describe it. It's so awful. And we did our like due diligence where we figured out what we wanted, working with a contractor to install the floors. And so it's finally moving forward and actually happening. It's another project we're just going to like squeak in before baby arrives. But we spent the weekend doing demo for that. So because if we do, of course, the demo ourselves, saves us quite a bit of money not paying somebody else to do it. So that was actually a good chunk of the weekend, was like learning how to pull off trim and pull up carpet and roll it up. And
so how gross was it under there?
Pretty gross. I didn't really like take any pictures because that was pretty nasty, and it was definitely like original to the house, like to when it was built. The previous owners in the house also had pets that they had clearly cleaned up accidents as well as they could, but not as well as you'd wish they would. So we found some surprises that was fun. Found like some weird old, I found like this whole corner where I'm guessing the construction crew, whoever put in either the carpet or the walls or some combination of either, had maybe like a couple of beers after work and we're just like chilling, because I found like a little collection of like beer caps in a corner. Underneath the carpet. I just found like these like super old rusty.
And you never like stepped on them
caps.
And noticed? It was just like
they were like trapped half. Yeah, they were trapped half under the carpet and half under the trim. See, I mean, really, how often do you walk the edge of your room?
Right.
So I really didn't ever think about it.
Interesting.
But yeah, so we just found like some random stuff around.
Symbols for witchcraft or
no
sacrificial areas. So that's
good. Hollowed out walls where skeletons could be buried or anything like that. So nothing truly crazy, but I did get quite a chuckle out of the beer caps in the corner.
Maybe those are special and like rare, expensive bottle caps.
Hopefully not, because I tossed them.
Oh my gosh.
They're in
Fortune
pretty bad
down
shape.
the drain.
They're in pretty bad shape. They were like rusty. I was like,
Mhm.
boy, I'm glad I've got, a tetanus shot because these are pretty nasty.
Whoever lived there before, they had put them there
Right.
as
Some
like
sort of time
like
capsule, really.
yeah. It was
And I
a
just
life.
ruined it.
Yep. It was a last resort like kind of thing, or
Yep.
it's just gonna be worth something someday, and they're gonna come back in 40 years.
Right. How
Get
cool
them.
is this gonna be? And then I just
Yeah.
ruined it.
Yep.
I did take like a picture of one of the bottle caps because it looked quite unusual. But yeah, I just tossed them. So sorry. Sorry to whoever did that, 40 years ago now. Apologies.
Yep. Some trash collector recycler guy he is raking it in now.
Right,
Look
right.
at the bottle caps. Even rusty, they're worth $50 a piece.
Right. I should have immediately called like American Pickers and just been like, hey, come on to my house.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so that was kind of like a last minute surprise thing that we did this weekend.
Sure. Yeah.
We
romantic.
Yes. It was together, so I guess it was quality time. Although I couldn't help with everything, of course.
Right.
And Chris took on some of the less desirable tasks. I was so excited. We had those like closet mirrors, like closet door mirrors, like they were like sliding from the 80s. Chris destroyed all of those, which I did not help with. But it was
that's bad luck for one. So
I know.
Don't touch that.
I know. It's like 4 panels of mirrors too, and they're like huge. So, I mean, really, he just went for it. So
really playing with fate. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if something happens to him, that's what's up. You heard it all here.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so that was a lot of our weekend. And then the only other thing that when we took a break from our second round of house projects, we watched some more Fresh Off the Boat, which of course I'm enjoying as I'm seeing more of Randall Park on WandaVision. It's kind of fun watching him in both of these very different roles. And also was very fun because Fresh Off the Boat is set in the 90s. And so as kind of like a kid growing up in the 90s, it's very fun to get those like throwback moments where you're like, oh man, like remember like high C ectoplasm or ectoblast, like juice coolers and whatnot. So it was fun for both of us.
Nice.
Ecto cooler, that's right.
Ecto cooler.
That's right. It's been so long. I could definitely
had that.
Could definitely take that down. I'm definitely at the stage of pregnancy where anything you mention is gonna eventually sound good enough to me.
Well, go ahead.
I watched a McDonald's commercial today, and they were advertising for spicy nuggets, and I was like, well, got to get those now.
Yep,
it's happening.
Yep. Spicy nuggets. I am a fan, I have to say, and I'm quite surprised that they are as spicy as they are. Like for a fast food, I know it's nationwide, but that's kind of the thing. Like, oh, it's nationwide. It's sort of blasé or whatever, or it can't be too something. And it's pretty spicy. So
yeah,
I'm a fan, and I'm impressed by the sauce that they made for it. I think it's pretty impressive.
Agreed.
Oh, there Alan has that picture of the Ecto Cooler.
That's right. Drink. That's right. That's some classic 90s right up in there. Just got to throw in some like fruit roll-ups or Dunkaroos, and you got yourself a real 90s party.
Well, on the topic of food and drink, before we get into the news, so if you're familiar with the show, you know how this goes. We got drink events, then we have some news that interested us throughout the week, and not news, pop culture news. We're sticking to the theme, and then WandaVision is the show we're going through right now, so we'll get to episode 6 later. But drinks.
Yeah.
What we got?
So this is kind of a big week, but not a big week in the world of celebrating drinks. Because we had 2 holidays, I guess three technically if you are religious. We had Valentine's Day on Sunday, which I know, people often celebrate with like a cute little martini or some champagne or some wine.
Sure.
So I think that's pretty traditional. Mardi Gras was yesterday, Fat Tuesday, and then of course Ash Wednesday is today, which I was reminded of on Twitter. Not usually the place like you would think of, but we're all stuck in our homes. We got to communicate somehow. And then tomorrow is National Drink Wine Day. So quite the different roster
it's
of
the
things
spread,
to kind of celebrate, but also choose. Like, if you have a traditional thing that you drink together for Valentine's Day, maybe you have some brunch, start off with mimosas. That's usually what we do. Obviously I can't really right now. But that's kind of generally our Valentine's Day thing. How about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess champagne is the, go-to Valentine's Day drink. We've plenty of times been to a restaurant or a hotel or whatever and ordered champagne, strawberries, that kind of thing. Didn't this year, was kind of the anime homecon for Valentine's celebration, but then we also ordered in each some different food to try.
Okay.
We were gonna go out, but it's so cold, and like one place we could just go a lot or whatever. So I ordered in lobster rolls and clam chowder, and lobster rolls it's just basically Ashley's one of her favorite things. So we ate that on Valentine's Day, and then we were supposed to be getting stuff to make our own sushi in time for that as well. But we didn't. We got that. I suppose it was today's Wednesday, so we got maybe it was Tuesday. No, got it Monday. Did it last night. So
okay. Well, there you go. You kind of celebrated Mardi Gras. Even though
we
you
kind of
didn't know
spread it out. Oh, that's true. Okay. All right. With sushi, that's that's a different take.
I mean, it's, Louisiana has seafood, just generally not, sushi. Yeah. But, you do you.
It was a good spread because we had, it was Lunar New Year at the end of the last week, and we watched a little bit of stuff on there. Got to watch some, like the countdown in China. And
fun.
The TV for that was so weird.
Okay.
Ash and I both thought we were watching something that was made for like a children's show.
Uh-huh.
It was so like, one, they loved playing with it, like, it was very happy and sort of like did these like dances and different stuff or whatever a lot. The music, the singing was all definitely like pre-recorded kind of thing. Nothing was live. And then they played with holograms a lot. Like they would put they would project someone on the stage, and everybody that's actually on the stage would be reacting to that and stuff.
Okay.
It was very weird. I could definitely, like, it was fun to try to figure out what they're talking about. There were definitely moments like, I'm pretty sure they're making fun of me right now, or like various different groups of people.
Sure.
And they, it was fun nonetheless. And one of the songs definitely got stuck on our head for a little bit. So for the next few hours, we were kind of humming a song and doing some of the dance moves along with it. There was lots of like this sort of thing in their dance moves.
Okay.
So if you're watching, it's that a lot, and then the hands going across like this, and it was a blast.
Master then.
Yes, that's correct. And then they had a big guy or someone, I don't know if he's a big guy, some guy in a cow suit, for the bull. So dancing around.
Sure.
So anyways, we did Lunar New Year celebrations with some live Chinese television. And
I
then
mean,
we had
it doesn't actually sound all that different from like, American New Year's.
yeah, I mean, I'm
I
not
mean,
saying that our New Year's celebrations are good. Let me just say that. I'm not saying that at all. Um, but it was just fun to see how they did it, how like really weird and disorganized it was at first, but then how they did like a dance routine and then like a play and
Oh,
then
okay.
seeing
That's
their
different.
commercials, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I see it was like a skit. Like they brought in someone from that was a thing supposed to be from Bangkok, and they
Mm.
brought in people from different someone that I think was supposed to be a Westerner, and people that were from different places, and they would
Okay.
be like, yeah, I don't know what they were talking about necessarily, but they'd be trying to like call in some sort of spirit or something, and would keep getting the wrong one.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, yeah, but
Okay, that bit certainly is different. But sounds like it could be
I mean, it's
entertaining.
my interpretation of it,
Sure,
so I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
But
Chinese
so
TV viewers
yeah,
right now, they're very offended. That's not what we were going for at all.
I know we're gonna get shut down right now. Um, it was so yeah, it was that, and then the home con, and then eating cool
Okay.
stuff for Valentine's, and then that having that being prolonged. So yeah, it's been good. And today because we opened a bottle of sake yesterday
Ah,
with the sushi,
yeah.
that now needs to be um, consumed, imbibed
Yes.
in. Uh, and so I have a sake cocktail.
Nice.
It's just sake with the passion fruit flavored juice of popping boba. So we have popping
Okay.
boba.
Sure.
Technically, these are called bursting boba, but whatever. So that's the simple syrup basically in this, and then some sparkling water. So it's very
Sounds
good.
good.
Yeah, it's refreshing. I love sake. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's
some
not
pie.
something that keeps. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's like wine or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
gotta drink it.
Yep.
Shucks, gotta drink it.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, and other things that are, oh darn, I guess. I was looking
Oh,
forward
yeah.
to the Epic Games live stream because it was last week. It was announced
Mm-hmm.
out of the blue for me. They announced it, I think, the day after they unveiled the MetaHumans
Yeah.
program, and that you can do.
That we were both pretty
Pretty neat.
interested in.
Yeah. And they should have put that in this, I feel like, because it would have been at least one thing that was exciting,
Yeah.
because this was really bad in my
It
opinion.
was.
I'm sure there's someone that it spoke to, but I just, I mean,
I won't
great
even
Kingdom
lie.
Hearts.
I
See,
didn't make it all the way through. I'm not
okay,
gonna
well,
lie
you
to you.
missed the end
I
bit
didn't
then, the
watch.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah.
Well, I mean, I got Kingdom Hearts because I saw like a shorter recap of it,
Oh,
but
okay, yeah.
the live stream, I did not make it through because I was pretty bored by
Hmm. I mean, I'm always hoping that there's a chance that there's something
it.
pretty different or unexpected or cool, and
Sure.
it just wasn't. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree.
More video game stuff. Last of Us. So Sony is really moving in.
Yeah.
I mean, Sony makes movies, newsflash, and they're trying to use some of their IP now to go into movies and television more with their Sony PlayStation properties.
Mm-hmm.
Last of Us being one of those things. They're making an HBO show, and they
Mm.
finally they announced the principal cast in terms of the two leads.
Yes.
Um,
I'm pretty
so
excited about it.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna definitely be hesitant to like expect anything out of this till I
Mm.
see it. But
Okay.
casting news, I think they're fun picks.
Mm-hmm.
Bella Ramsey of Game of Thrones fame,
Mm-hmm.
little lady Mormont
Yep.
is
That's right.
Ellie, and then Joel is played by the Mandalorian himself, Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
So
I
there they
mean,
are. Yeah.
both also, I mean, very memorable characters on Game of Thrones,
Yes.
never sharing some screen time. So unfortunately, we have no like sneak preview of any of their potential chemistry together. But I mean, both I think did excellent jobs with not I wouldn't say like bit parts, but not quite supporting characters, you know, kind of side characters that were there were strong presences for shorter arcs. And I think based on like looks as well, not too shabby of a job in matching the characters. Obviously Pedro Pascal as Joel is a little bit farther from what you see on the screen, but I still
they're
think
close
like,
enough.
yeah, I mean, who's gonna find like exact copies, really? So yeah, so I like it, and I mean, for me, it's continuing on a line of goodwill from Pedro Pascal from, you know, Game of Thrones, Mandalorian, and then also I still think his is the best performance in Wonder Woman 1984. So
sure, yeah, absolutely. Well, this show has some. I mean, the guy behind Last of Us, the game. Blanking on his name at the moment. Not a huge fan of him, but he's talented. He's involved, and Neil Druckmann.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, yes. And so then also the guy that did, or the person, I don't know who, the person that did Chernobyl is running this show as well. So
yeah, I never saw that, but Chris did, and he absolutely loved it. Like he thought it was so good, and I've heard nothing but amazing things. So I really do want to get around to that. So at least you know, like the production value is going to be high quality.
Ashley saw it, was watching when I was going to work or whatever and stuff, and she enjoyed it a lot. So.
Sure. Excellent.
Yeah. No, I think so. They've got some talent involved for sure. So they're on to a good start. I really do hope that Sony can convert some of their gaming IP into proper television and film.
Yeah.
I'd rather not see it just fall through. I mean, I'm perfectly fine if they don't do it, but if they're gonna do it, I mean, I'd rather it be good. And
yeah, of course.
You know, so far what we're seeing is interesting. And same with Uncharted. We've getting what's his face, Spider-Man, and in everything these days, and he's going to be in that. So
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a smart choice, you know, to make into you know, to translate to like film media. It's, you know, I mean, Last of Us is you know, post-apocalyptic, very like zombie-esque story. You know, it's got all the hallmarks of, you know, a good drama while being set in like, you know, this kind of like crazy world that, you know, is really, I feel like what a lot of TV is about right now. Do you know what I mean? Sure. I mean, it might be catching a little bit of the tail end, but I think it's different enough than say something like Walking Dead to still be interesting to folks.
Yep. Well, I mean, and just the other end of it is Sony has really hit an amazing stride in the last 15 years or more. I mean, they've just been really, really consistent in making games that are story driven. They're basically playing a movie in many ways. So that the fact that they've made so many of those properties and they're obviously the easiest to translate. They're the biggest no-brainers to translate to the medium that they are so clearly inspired by.
Right.
It's not like, you know, there was the rumors of the making a Legend of Zelda Netflix show. And that's great and could be very good, but there's a lot more work that has to be done. It's the same as like if you're going to make if you're going to make the Sonic movie, which they did, there's a lot of work to do there because it's not a
To
natural
make a
transition.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, from a Sonic video game to a legitimate, entertaining film.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
just they're just very different beasts. And so when you have something like Uncharted, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, like these games are, they're story driven and they make perfect sense in this kind of adaptation. So
Agreed.
in other
This will be something good to watch out for. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yep. Go HBO Max. In other adaptation news, I guess it's kind of going the other way around here.
Yeah.
So we've had comics for many years now being translated into film, and we are now getting comics based on the adaptations the movies are based on.
Yeah.
I'm confusing myself. The original Batman movie and the original Superman movie are getting sequels in comic book form. So my first thought was, wait, DC is still doing comics?
DC is still doing anything?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
sorry, DC. Obligatory jab.
Yep. So I think it looks cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the original Batman movie, the original Tim Burton Batman movie. Yes. So I care less about the Superman one, but I guess
it's fun to imagine what happens when media goes the other way around. For me, like this immediately made me think of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because they closed out 7 seasons of Buffy on TV, and then they continued the same storyline, same characters, and made a season 8 of Buffy in comics. So was kind of thinking like, oh yeah, like they've done this before. It's unusual. I mean, you don't really see it happening all the time, but if this is the medium you're given and you feel you have a great story to tell, then this is what you're going to do. So I think this is pretty cool. And I was reading a little bit about, I think it's the Batman comic that's getting a little bit revamped because they had originally had an idea for introducing another character or featuring another character more heavily. Am I thinking of the right thing? I'm trying to
this particular comic that's they're looking at right now.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up the story because I want to think of what that was. Because I know
I'm very interested in what they do with it, though, for sure. Because there's definitely some level of.
Okay. Sorry, I realized what I was thinking of.
No, what was it?
So it was Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent. They're going to feature him as Two-Face in the comic, which they really didn't in the movie, which they had been originally planning to do, and then cut it for reasons unspecified in the article. But it's now going to appear in the comic. So I'm not interested in that.
I'm not a fan of that because though they are, I mean, I'm trying to think, but Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin are all technically in the same timeline. They're all together. And we've already had a Two-Face.
They are.
Now I know that. I know. See, DC's been doing this forever.
I know.
Consistency or continuity, because obviously they recast, Billy D. Williams with.
I was gonna say with Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, because if you think of it that way, then there's already like no continuity there. So at this point, just why not see, I guess, what Burton originally intended for Two-Face to look like.
Alan says they recast Batman too.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, yeah.
Touche. Yep.
If you want to get really specific, like they recast a director too. Joel Schumacher isn't Tim Burton either.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, either way, this is one of the few DC comics that, like, I don't feel like I want to give them my business hardly. They're going to be getting out of this so much, but
yeah,
intrigues me enough that it's something of theirs anyways that I'll take a look at.
It's a good business idea for, I think, a company that is floundering a little bit right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, and there was the rumors, of course, of bringing Keaton back.
Right.
I mean, if
they're still around, so who knows?
Yeah. So, last bit of video game news before we have a little chat that's going to bore most of the audience before we get to WandaVision. The Nintendo event. Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct today.
They did.
Today, Wednesday. So good timing here.
Yes.
They haven't had a Nintendo Direct, a full one, in many moons. Yep. And so finally they dropped it on us. It did lead to a lot of hype. Like, leading up to this, people were
maybe a bit much
getting pumped. I mean, but I did temper my expectations because it's Nintendo and I'm used to them letting me down now in some fashion. But I mean, I can see it. It's been a year and a half or something like that since they've had a legit Direct. So,
yeah.
What did you think overall?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. It, the other day we were talking about the fact that we were kind of missing the gaming excitement we had in the early summer where, we had like showcases and previews and, different live events every week or every 2 weeks or something. So this kind of really reminded me of that. I don't think it was like bombshell news by any means overall. And of course they tempered their own expectations by saying straight out, which I thought was very smart, in the first minute that, hey, like all of these release dates are still guesstimates, like COVID-19 has disrupted things. So if these aren't exact, please forgive us. So I think they played it very smart by getting you hyped up, but also like, setting that level of, please don't be too tied to this because we don't want you to be disappointed. But overall, I thought it was pretty tight. Like everything ran smoothly. Transitions were good. Like it was a nice, like 50 minutes. I didn't feel too bored, too lost, anything like that. So I thought they did a good job. And it was a lot of fun games that were announced.
Sure.
Was I a little disappointed at the end with the Zelda, non-Zelda news? Like, almost, our new game isn't quite ready though, but here's some other Zelda news. Gotcha. Yes, I was, but also, again, they set it up right away to say, like, give us some grace. COVID-19 is disrupting everything, so can't be too mad at that.
Which I believe everyone and their mother will say until they absolutely cannot be believed anymore.
Right.
Because I have news for you. In the industry, in the video game industry, games are delayed all the time.
Right.
No matter the year.
This is just like a great excuse ever. Right now.
I know. And so I automatically am like, okay, whatever, sure. And that's not necessarily fair, but I'm just telling you, it's going to be a thing. They're going to always say it. And it's just like, it's gonna be games get delayed. Yeah. Things happen, so just the way it is. Well, we started out with they always like to do these fun reveals, and I thought they did a pretty good job with it. Again, it's surprising me. I didn't see it coming. They unveiled a new Smash Bros. Character, Pyra. I was not familiar with this character, but looks like some Xenoblade Chronicles, Xenoblade Universe sort of stuff. She's not the there's some rumors going around that Crash Bandicoot was going to be one of the characters, which would make sense because Crash 4 is just coming out on the Switch. I definitely think a lot of the picks have been pretty meh recently, other than Sephiroth maybe. But either way, she looks good. The combat looks good, and I will definitely give her a go.
Well, and she's got a fun little twist as she changes into another option, Mithra.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a cool dual character.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think it'll be neat, and they revealed it in a fun way.
Yeah, I was not sure where that little like early adventure story was going.
Yeah. I thought, man, that
guy's
voice doesn't match his look.
Yeah, it was very dramatic, and it was very like, we're telling a moving drama here of longing and loss and searching for this girl forever, and then, hey, I get an invitation to join Smash party time.
Yep. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty great.
Well done. Famicom Detective Club, that did look kind of neat. I'm glad that it's bringing a game to the West here, a couple of them that might be fun story-driven mysteries.
Right.
And Mario Golf. I was excited about Mario Golf.
I was too. I love it. And I love that, like, it's not just Mario playing golf. Like, there's apparently actually some sort of storyline that you go through. I don't think they emphasize it too much, because I imagine it's not very heavy or very involved. But it's kind of cute to, like, it's not just like, playing golf and you get to play as Mario characters. Like, there's a point to it. So I think that's pretty cute.
Well, I'll just take this moment to address, because later they get to another Mii game. They won't give up the Miis, and I want to know if people actually like the Mii characters, because I don't. I think they're dumb, and maybe they're very popular in Japan.
Maybe
and they were cute for like a minute when you could do like.
Alan says pass.
Yeah, pass. Yeah, they're dumb. The avatar creator on Xbox is quite nice.
Yes.
But the Mii characters just look stupid. They just don't look good.
Do.
So I'm not a fan.
I thought it was like fun to like have that in there, but I would never actually play Miitopia. I think that was what it was called. Okay. It was like fun to like see that and be reminded of like how excited we were when we first got like our Wii. You know what I mean? And we were like making Mii characters, and it was like all a thing and whatever. And it was very cute.
And like people, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like they don't look like people at all. And you're like trying to like make this awkward looking shape resemble you. This like potato figure resemble you somehow. So yeah. So I mean, it was fun to like be like, oh, right. That's what that used to look like. I haven't seen that in so long. But no, I don't know what the deal is with like making a game out of it and like.
Well, I bring it up here because that's who you have to be. You have to be a Mii character for the story mode of this game. And then like, oh, and by the way, you can take your Mii and play in the regular mode with them. It's like, well, that's not a feature to me. That's not a feature. Okay?
Yeah, that's not enticing. So, like, why would you lead with that?
Like, I just want to be able to play through the story with any of the characters I want or something.
Yes,
I don't know. So
agreed.
But either way, I think it looks fun. I'm excited to give it a shot this summer. Good multiplayer game.
Yeah.
So, and I like that you can. I do like that you can use the Joy-Cons as like traditional Wiimote, taking advantage of the motion controls.
Yep.
Hopefully, it's sensitive and accurate enough. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was a cool feature for 2 games. One, obviously, we can get to in a minute, but I think that's like a smart move. Having that.
Oh, you don't you dare say it later. I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say, and you're wrong. We'll get there.
Okay.
And then Animal Crossing is getting an update. They've been doing a lot of seasonal little updates and stuff. It's been, you know, continuing to grow. I have been out of it for a little while, but they were very late with a lot of the Mario 35th anniversary celebration things, and they're still doing it. Like they just released Mario plus Bowser's Fury. Now we've got this Mario items and everything in Animal Crossing coming.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty cool. It looks like they've really added a lot of things, a lot of costumes. I mean, they're telling you recreate, you know, the Mushroom Kingdom and you're on your island. So
right.
It's maybe enough to get me to jump back in for a little bit.
I was gonna say this is probably about the smartest marketing ploy ever to cross Mario. I mean, Animal Crossing.
They've got you know. But I was thinking like this year is when they should be doing Zelda and Metroid. Yeah. Yep. Right. So, better late than never.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that looks fun. And then let's see. And then the big, I guess. So I went like, right when he came on stage, had the Zelda shirt on. Like, here we go.
That's right.
But yeah, it was a little bit of a tease. Yeah, they did. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. I have to say I am nonetheless very happy about this.
Yeah.
I do want news on Breath of the Wild 2, but this game came out on the Wii and I played it for like 70 hours or something, despite the mandatory motion controls that are not cute, Andrea. They're awful.
But how do you know what they're going to be like this time around?
Because no one wants to swing the things. It's not
why not?
70 hours of swinging the things. No. Oh my god!
I can't even say swinging a sword or like swinging a controller, swinging the things.
Alan says he agrees. This is
well,
one
who's
of the
playing for 70 hours straight, swinging the things?
Well, yes. I'm not saying my arms are getting tired. I'm saying it's not enhancing the experience, and so it seems worthless and silly to do it when it's not making my gameplay any better. You know.
Yeah, I thought it was cute here because again, like it was a throwback to what it originally was. I mean, they've obviously adapted it so now that you don't have to.
Right.
You know, the controller is obviously able to be controlled like a regular I'm going to say control again. You can use the regular controls this time.
Yeah.
But I just think it's cute for anybody who wants to do that for like 1-2 hours. You know, maybe it was like fun for the first little bit and you're like, you know, just like when I got it on Wii. But now, yeah, you can do button only controls, which is smarter to do both.
Right. I mean, they did spend a lot of time design. I remember the big E3 press conference or whatever it was. Yeah. Going through how you're going to do the motion controls for all of it and stuff. So it makes sense that it is there when you have the motion capable Joy-Cons. But I was waiting on bated breath for them to say that you don't have to do that. So I was very excited because I really think that this is a very, very good Zelda game. And I think that it's very underappreciated because a lot of people passed on this. Yeah. It is the earliest game in the canon of the story. It really tells about the formation of the Master Sword. So I appreciated the story of this game and the characters and the look. And they even called out in this video how some of the things that they implemented in this game for the first time are things that made it to Breath of the Wild, you know, important things. So I hadn't thought of that before, but it's true. And so, yeah, I'm very excited. It's a game that hasn't seen the remakes, you know, stuff like Ocarina of Time has been redone. You know, they already had an HD version that they put on like the 3DS or whatever. And same with Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. And I mean, I want all these games on the Switch, but I think it's time for this one. And I really hope that more people try it. I think they will. It's a perfect thing. No motion controls, and it's on the Switch.
Right.
It's gonna sell. So. Yeah.
Yep. Another smart move to do while we're waiting.
Yep. And Alan brings up too the controllers. I am buying those, of course, immediately. There is a
they looked great.
Sword and Shield controllers, Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are excellent.
Slick. I'm worried about. I'm really hoping whenever they come with the Switch 2.0 or whatever, if they do happen to do that this holiday or something, that it still works with the same Joy-Con, which I think it will. But I don't want to buy these new Joy-Con and then a new Switch comes out and then, I can't use them or something. So.
Right, you get burned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I feel like that would be pretty shitty to do, especially after all this is coming out now. But yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I hope so.
I mean, it's very common that, all of them, but particularly Nintendo, they will release a piece of hardware. So it's the base console or whatever, and they'll let that go for a while. And then it's like, and then they release some cool special edition ones that are like, wow, really enticing. But they're releasing it late enough that like, oh, they might be releasing actual new hardware soon, not just like reskinned, actual new hardware. So then they get you to the hardcore to buy that thing. And then 6 months later, here's the actual new thing. And you're just like, So
got me again.
Keep some people too from buying the cool thing because they know what's coming. So, yep. Oh yeah, we skipped over things. I was going off of your list. Sorry, I just I'm probably throwing Alan for a loop here. Just these two more things that I noted, and then whatever else stood out to you. So there was Project Triangle Strategy. It was called. That is a Square Enix game, and it must be made by the same team that did Octopath Traveler. The art style is identical. The graphics, the graphic style is identical. And then even the way they're rolling this out with calling it Project this and then doing a demo right away and waiting for feedback. Like that's exactly what they did with Octopath Traveler as well.
Right.
Octopath Traveler was a very good game. And this is taking that kind of thing, but making you make more decisions and changing into more of a tactics game than just a turn-based RPG. So I think this one has a chance to be very good, high quality game if you're into that kind of thing. And I unfortunately did not stick with Octopath Traveler for long enough, but it is nonetheless a very, very good game. And then Splatoon 3. I think a lot of people were worried that there wasn't going to be another Splatoon, even though it's quite popular. They've kind of, I don't know, they haven't been talking about it. And so it was.
Well, that was kind of
I've not been into it.
That was kind of like the big closeout there.
Yeah.
It was, I think, a strong closing out on Splatoon 3. I mean, just like closing out on something that people were worried about and then announcing it right at the end there was, again, like kept you going to the end to be like, whoa, big news.
Yep. So what did I miss? Is there other things that you were pumped about or?
I guess the two that I was just interested in are the fact that Hades, the physical version of the game, is coming out. So they announced that. And then the Capcom Arcade Stadium, which is launching today. It is, I think you have to do like a update. You get a free game, and then you can buy the various arcade games in different packages. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. And like a fun first kickoff to like all of these games being available.
Sure.
So that just like caught my eye that is... they said that they were opening that up, I think, at the end of the broadcast. So should have been available for quite a few hours now.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm tempted by the physical copy of
Hades.
Hades. Yeah, just for that art book.
Yeah.
The book with all the different character breakdowns. I'm tempted by that. But
yeah, you get a list of little fun extras. You get the art book, the soundtrack, and one other thing that I'm not remembering now.
Yeah. Well, there's something in game too, I think. Wasn't there something in?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
really
what
I cared
though,
about
boy.
was the art book. That just
Mm-hmm.
looked really nice because the soundtrack is available on streaming services.
Right.
And in-game items, I'm usually not super pumped about because if they're too good, then they bother the people that can't have them.
Right.
So they have to be kind of mediocre usually.
Yep.
But yeah, I had to say I was ultimately kind of let down, but I'm happy that they had one, and I'm happy for Zelda. That's like my biggest takeaways.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was fun that we were kind of back to, one of these reveals. Because I missed that from the summer, like all of the game reveals going on and having like a new event to do. So I think this was actually weirdly like a great time to do this, to bring that back and like get people amped up about it. I mean, again, I feel like with almost any of the events that we've talked about, there's an element of disappointment. There's sure. never quite exactly what you want it to be. And there's almost never like that, like big, like, oh my God, my mind was blown moment. But this was just fun. It was light.
Yep.
Like I said, they kept it running really well. Everything was like rolling out smoothly. So well done.
Yep.
Well done, Nintendo.
I mean, is it that the hype is getting out of control for things, or is it that?
Yeah.
I mean, or is it that like things aren't living up to what they should be, or both?
I think both. I think we have this sort of problem regardless of media. It's any announcement that any media company makes is always hard to feel like they let you know of in advance. It's always hard to feel like it actually lives up. You know what I mean? We just get bombarded with so many like mega reveal, big surprise, like, new announcement, new TV show, big casting. Like it's almost, it's just such a saturation of, big announcements that almost nothing ever truly is a big announcement. You either have to be so like a hardcore, diehard fan of something, and like this means the most to you when something, happens that gets it right in your eyes. Or, it's just like something totally out of left field where there's been no promo of a big announcement and just like a big announcement is made and it's just like, whoa, shockwave.
Sure.
That's, I think, the only kind of truly success you can expect to have anymore, because it's really hard to surprise people, and it's really hard to surprise people in a amazing way without somebody immediately dragging it down.
Maybe it's that things are leaked too easily, and so it's difficult to save up for a lot of the stuff that's really surprise. Maybe that's the deal. Because I remember a lot of events that were really just excellent. I mean, I think that in the video game space, Sony and Microsoft have had some really, Microsoft's event when they brought out Keanu Reeves and did the whole like kind of the cyberpunk sort of shutdown, like that's pretty exciting. I mean, it's, of course, nothing's perfect, but that's pretty exciting. Yeah. Sony's done some really good things before with, where they're really revealing big games and then doing it in a cinematic way. And I think Apple, generally speaking, if the standard is set right, I know this is not in the media sphere, But
So.
they like, yeah, there's an expectation set, and very often they are living up to that expectation. And if not, you hear about it the next day for sure.
Right.
So I think it can be done. It just, to me, it seems like it's less and less. And yeah, maybe it's just that people are scared of things leaking out, so they have to piecemeal things, releases, but
yeah, I also think there's always going to be some trouble when, not necessarily trouble, but probably some sort of letdown when you do bigger mashed up reveals like this, because you're not focusing on one thing and putting your production value into like, look at all the things we have for this one game or this one movie or this one TV show, whatever you want to, talk about a company revealing. It's much harder to get excited about like a 30-second snippet than it is about like a 2-minute like surprise of like, let's deep dive into this production value. Let's have, like maybe a celebrity cameo or, some other like cool, unexpected thing. It's just harder when you just like have so much, it feels like pulling at your attention that each subsequent reveal doesn't quite measure up.
Yep. And I like that, like, I think Xbox used to do this where they would really have their, it was, Xbox Live Arcade, and they would have their indie focused moments and stuff, because frankly, it's a little weird when you have, okay, here's a new Smash character with our fancy CGI trailer. Right. Here is our, this is Mario Golf and Zelda HD version and new Splatoon. Like, you bring up some of the big games that they're doing, but then you interlace it with like the Ninja Gaiden trilogy that is very, like, people love those games, but they're old. And then World's End Club, which is a game that's been on Apple Arcade for months and months, and like, it's great that these games are coming to Switch. Like, that's not the issue. I'm happy that they're coming. It's just that they do not garner the same attention, respect. They're not on the same playing field. It's not the same kind of announcement as some of this other stuff.
I agree. Yeah. I wish they would spend, if the live stream was like roughly 50-ish minutes. And I wish that, maybe they would spend like 35 of that focusing on like just new things. And then you could do like, okay, and then here, like the last 15 minutes or whatever, or 10 minutes, just be like, here's some quick snippets of games that are coming to the Switch. You know what I mean? Like just kind of like flipping through. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just flip through it and just like get me excited about it. That's really great. But it's like, I already know this. So,
Yeah. Games new to Switch. It's like Tales from the Borderlands or what's the other one? The other open, like, multiplayer online shooter thing. It was a big deal for a while. I can't think of what it's called. But it's just like, that's been out forever. Okay.
Right.
And good, or I even like Fall Guys. That's great that it's coming for us to Switch too. Perfect. Makes sense. But that's not a new game announcement, and it's just it's not on the same level. And I know Skyward Sword isn't a new game announcement either, but it's a bigger deal to a Nintendo fan than so I don't know, than a new Monster Hunter game. So or sorry, I shouldn't say that. Monster Hunter, people are very pumped for that. Bad
Monster
example.
Hunter Rise,
yeah. So, but well, either way, we got a Nintendo Direct. Yahoo.
Yes.
So
overall, I would say positive. I mean, like many other game events, disappointing parts, but I quite enjoyed it. And unlike the Epic Games live stream, this kept my attention the whole time. So good job there, guys.
Yeah. Well, another things that keep my attention all the time are some of the Real Housewives ladies.
How could you not?
So I'm still watching Dallas. Have you watched any Dallas yet?
No, I've not watched Dallas yet.
Okay. All right. So that's going well. It's exciting. The new cast member Tiffany, I'm liking more, but her voice fry is so unbearable.
Okay.
It's just
in
so
what way?
much. Oh my God, all the time I'm doing this. And I'm a doctor, and people are supposed to take me seriously.
Okay.
Like, just constant. I'm like, can you just not do that all the time? Like, I understand that it, like, normally it doesn't bother me that much. Like, I know some more common on the West Coast or whatever, different places. It's constant. It's constant. If I had a doctor that came in the room and talked to me that way, I would take a moment to be like, just, I don't know, how do I want to trust you with like my liver or whatever I'm here for, you know? I don't know. Like,
sure.
So, but you know, if I can get past that, the show has been good.
Okay. Good.
And then tonight's a big night, so that's on my schedule after this.
That's right.
Is when you've been watching Salt Lake City. Did you see Reunion Part 1?
Absolutely. I am all cut up and ready to go. They are just like having an explosive reunion, like all over the place, just like new things everywhere, bombs being dropped, parents have been lost, and just like casually brought
Parents
up.
Have been lost?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that like Heather's dad died, and then Mary casually was like, "Oh yeah, my dad died too," and I was like, "Oh my God,
that's right."
Like,
yes.
Everybody's just like, I don't know why it just like took me aback. I think because I had been, so I'm being a hilarious pregnant wife and making Chris watch old episodes of Beverly Hills. And there's like an old reunion episode where Eileen Davidson had lost her mother, like right as the reunion was hitting, and she like didn't let anybody know about it. And so that was on my mind as I watched this. I was like, all of a sudden everybody was like, I lost a parent too. And I was like, oh my God.
It's went differently. Yeah. Differently this time.
So, yeah. So
I thought some people kind of made up, and then clearly they watched the season and they did not. They were like, wounds tore open again.
Yeah. I kind of love it though, because they seem like super honest about it. They're just like, nope. Like, you know, we thought we were good, and then I'm still not over this, or like watching this and I didn't realize that, and you know, I don't like you. So they just like straight up say it. So good. I don't know. Weirdly good for them. They're not just like putting a face on stuff.
And they've been able to like say their parts enough, because I found that as an issue in particularly Atlanta and Jersey reunions. Sometimes they will not, they just talk over each other constantly, and you just can't make sense of anything.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. Part 2 is tonight, Wednesday.
Yes, so, I think it's going to be good. I really have to say, the reunion has highlighted the fact that I do really like Heather. I don't know how, like, where you're kind of like ranking and liking and disliking of the ladies is. I really like Heather. I think she's very straightforward, and she's just like who she is. And I'm really feeling like I could give almost less than a crap about Mary. And that if she doesn't,
you were saying before she was like not being involved. I mean, she's not being involved in the show enough, and
right. And I just feel like unless something even more drastic happens at the reunion, like I would not be surprised if she's not back next year. Because you know, the whole like finale, she just basically almost wasn't there, and then she's been largely absent, you know, from the reunion, and then kind of got into it at the end there. So I mean, maybe tonight there's going to be more, but yeah. I don't know how you're feeling.
I like I think everybody is doing pretty well, other, you know, like, but if you're saying like reevaluating cast, at this point something would have to change, or Mary would need to be gone. I'm liking Whitney. I think that she is like the most this season been someone that I've been on her side.
Yeah.
You know, really, like, yes, she shouldn't have brought up the talk about what, Jen at her husband's birthday.
Right. Definitely wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
But like
But
way overreaction to
yes.
that.
Yep. So, and pretty much everybody else I've been relatively interested in. Which is the one blanking on their name now? Which
Are you
is the
thinking
one
Meredith
that?
and Lisa? I definitely still get them confused sometimes over like which one has like a promo business, which one has like a tequila company, which one, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, which one had the tequila company?
So that's Lisa. That's not Meredith is the one pictured here. Lisa's the other one.
Okay. Lisa is less my favorite right now.
Yes,
I mean, I do think that it's a little bit like she's not hearing her family enough and her husband and stuff on things. She is a little too self-absorbed.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing. But I'm still enjoying her on the show. So
yeah, overall, I mean, and I like her and Meredith. They've got like a good dynamic, and they've got the whole like we're almost sisters kind of thing. And so yeah, so she's got moments, but yeah, I agree. There needs to be a little more openness from her, both to her family and to the other ladies, because right now I just feel like she's like got tunnel vision on like this is what I want, these are my views, take it or leave it, and it's like normal people just don't operate that way. I mean, you obviously need a certain amount of drive to get where you're at. And, you know, there's times absolutely that you should be focused on your career and things like that. But, you know, when that many people are telling you, you know, you're ignoring them, you kind of maybe need to listen.
Yep. Being the way you are isn't an excuse.
Right. Exactly. You can't just be like, this is just me.
Yeah. Right. You know, and well, okay, that's just you. Then you can have no friends or whatever, you know.
Exactly. Right. Enjoy life with just you, because that's how that's going to go. Yeah.
How about the time with the like psychic, the healer and stuff or whatever?
Yeah.
That was a fun little get together.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not charged at all, you know. Yeah, that was really interesting. I thought it was going to be like a little bit different in terms of like, you know, she was going to do more, but she basically was kind of just like a therapist, like sitting them on the couch and like, you know, had like crystals and things around. And I was like, oh, I was expecting to do more with these, or like, I don't know, like hold a crystal or like have some like cleansing happening. And it was basically just like, everybody sit down and tell me how you feel about Jen and tell me how you feel about Whitney.
She got a little forceful at points though. Like, no, just say this. Like she would interrupt, you know, and I was surprised with that. So well,
good inaugural season, I think, from Salt Lake City. And like I said, I'd definitely be down to watch a second one with or without Mary.
Yep. I think that Andy said up front, people's sort of take seemed to be that maybe this is the best first season of any Housewives series, and from what I've seen, I would agree.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I enjoyed the reunion questions. I felt like they also pulled no punches. They were just, you know, people being like, hey, Jen, why did you throw your friend a birthday party that was basically for you and not for her? Yeah, and I was like, great, I love it.
You're sharing my culture.
No, you're not. Right.
Yeah. And then tonight, New Jersey starts as well. Yes. So I am sad to hear, Ashley heard that Melissa Gorga put it out there or whatever, which actually was my primary Valentine's gift to Ashley. I got her a Melissa Gorga dress from her shop Envy.
Nice.
Way
to go. Way to husband. Props for that.
But anyways, apparently her and her husband had a rough go this season, which is always upsetting to me because I like the both of them.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to fight. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, it's weird how you get like you do get invested sometimes in couples, especially the ones that are
yeah,
stable, where you're
yep,
like, oh, be careful.
yep, yep. You're on this show. I mean, I can't expect that it's going to last forever, but darn it, it should. And then the ones that are
Right.
terrible seem to linger forever sometimes.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
we-
Ones with like either terrible husbands or like terrible boyfriends that stick around
yep.
and you're like, oh, get out of here. Yeah.
I laugh at the pain that's in sometimes, but I am not vindictive enough that I want
Right.
them to have pain. Like
Right.
I
Yep.
don't wish upon them bad things to happen for my entertainment. You know,
Right.
I do want, you know, especially if they seem like good people, I do want good things to happen to them. And so when they have a relationship that seems stable or something and healthy, like I want that to succeed. And so that's part of
Right.
the benefit of the show as well. Everybody that
Right.
watches would know, like it's because anyone that's here that's holding on until we get to WandaVision, you know, it's not just so you can watch people make fools of themselves or be trashy or
Yeah.
something like that. Like there's positive elements too that you hope for.
Absolutely. Yeah, whether it's, relationships that the ladies have, with their significant others or that they have with their each other, there's always like good moments
Yep.
to balance out like the pettiness or the drama or the sometimes very legitimate, I think,
Yep.
fights that, go on. So,
Yep. Yep. Well, in from I don't know, super reality lady fights to super fantasy
yeah, super
fights.
avoidance of reality.
Yeah. hmm We can get into WandaVision,
Mhm.
Disney Plus's streaming show right now. WandaVision season 1 episode 6 was last week. Only a couple more days till episode 7. The end is
right.
nigh for this
Home stretch.
season of shows, yeah, or of this do you think there'll be a season 2?
Of WandaVision?
Yeah.
I it's weird. I can't tell. I would normally say yes because I think that this has been very successful. I think that this show could keep going, but I don't know that like Bettany and Olsen would sign on again. Do you know what I mean? Like it's really hard.
Mhm.
I feel like Disney would keep doing it, but I don't know like where Bettany and Olsen are at in their contracts. Are they, the
Mm.
same kind of way where uh you know, Downey Jr. and Hemsworth and everybody were all like signed on to do X number of movies and you had to do this number. And then once that was up, it was like, okay, whatever. Like, we're letting you go now. So I don't know what their contracts say. So
Right.
they may very well be written in for multiple seasons of WandaVision. Or this could just be it. And after this, it's literally up to them to re-sign back on. I don't know.
We're so used to talking about things in seasons that you expect another one, but I think that
Yeah.
this will be a one and done. I think that this is the setup, the beginning of phase 4, and I think the sequel to this will be the movie, will be Doctor Strange. And so
Mhm.
then there will be no point or purpose to a season 2 of this. And I like that. They don't have to keep just rattling off seasons of something. They can just, the next thing is the next thing. Like the connecting tissue is the follow-up film or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, it's also hard for me because I don't know where they would go with Vision specifically. I
Mm,
think there's so much left for Scarlet Witch, you know.
sure.
There's a lot that they can still do with her character. And obviously like major spoiler alert. We in this episode we learned something huge about Vision, the fact that he really is dead. And if he steps outside the boundaries of Westview, he will deanimate, I don't know, decompose, rip
Yeah.
apart. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. Like we learn that he can't live outside the boundaries of Wanda's magic for sure. Now, how exactly that's animating him and to what degree, still confused about that, how that exactly works. But yeah, I mean, there's only so far you can go when you're pretty much confirming that Vision is dead.
Yeah. I mean,
and
I think they're leaving a little open in that, you know, what happens if someone else actually just tried to walk out? I mean, is this field or whatever so forceful that it's like tearing at you? Or is it literally like you cannot exist out here?
But Monica got kicked out, and we saw her like
But
pop
she threw her
through.
out.
Right. I know. I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe like a difference of like Wanda throwing them out versus like trying to leave of your own volition.
I mean, I think I'm on your page.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that would be a really finite line to draw. I mean, they could absolutely still go that route. I mean, they, like you said, they left it open enough, vague-ish enough, but I really kind of feel like it's just because Vision is dead. He moves outside the boundary and he's really dead, which I hated because I love Vision and I did not want him to be dead. But
it was well done. There was some good drama in this one here.
Yep, there was very much like, will he get outside? Won't he get outside? What's going to happen to him when he's out there? He seems fine for a second, and then it all falls apart, quite literally. It almost reminded me of Thanos' snap, but in sort of like a slow motion kind of way, as you know, as like everybody was turning to dust after the snap. Almost kind of reminded me of that a little bit, which, if that was purposeful, well done.
Yep. Well, I think that I mean, I love this episode. I thought it was very right on for nailing that Malcolm in the Middle 90s opening.
Speaking and of like 90s.
Just the whole thing rang very true.
Yes.
It was pretty funny.
Yes, I love that we both like immediately were hit with Malcolm in the Middle, and I know a lot of reviewers were too. So
it was there.
Excellent job, yeah.
And the classic costumes. So celebrating Halloween. That was a lot of fun. Going throwbacks for all three of them here.
Yes.
Quicksilver, Vision, and Wanda, Scarlet Witch. Very cool. I like how things start getting like less defined or more out of her control as you get to the perimeters of the town. People were just like standing still and stuff.
Yeah.
And not really operating.
I mean, really kind of confirmed my theory last week that Wanda only has so much juice to run the town. And if you're living at the fringes and you're not going to be like actively involved in the principal story that she's creating, she really doesn't have the time for you. She's just like keeping you there, and you're kind of on a low level hum, but you're not doing anything, so she doesn't need you. So she's not running your life. Like she said, you know, how could I be responsible for, you know, making sure everybody's fed, getting to their doctor's appointments, going to work? She's not. She's just not.
Yep. You kind of have them under a trance and sort of you give them a baseline operation. And I think this is starting to shape then how we can see this all spiraling way out of control. Because as she expands drastically the size in which and scope of the world she's engulfing now to control, as we saw at the end, more things are going to slip through.
Yes.
What things is she going to accidentally trigger, and what things are going to start falling out of her control and that start causing some sort of chaos.
Right. Well, yeah, she's expanded, and she's now trapped a bunch of sword agents inside with her, which I thought was so great. It was hilarious to like watch sword agents turn into literal clowns. I mean, sort of a subconscious, this is what I think of you dig as they're, being sucked into her kind of hex, as Darcy would call it. And Darcy herself obviously is now inside, so that should be quite entertaining. And I know somebody had mentioned that there was a whole circus plot, I think, for Wanda and for Vision in some of the comics. So that was kind of like a little nod. You know, obviously she in her in the original, like, you know, vision of transforming Westview into this like idyllic little hamlet where she could live out her fantasies and not have to deal with her grief. She has to turn things into, you know, acceptable structures. So, you know, a circus would obviously fit right into all of this kind of you know, theme of this episode, but I think it was also like a comic nod as well.
Okay. I thought maybe it was a comic nod, and it was led up to one of the best moments of the episode. I thought was she'd said told her kids don't go past Ellis Avenue, I believe.
Oh yeah,
and then
yeah.
show the sign of Ellis Avenue. And my mind when I hear that goes to Warren Ellis. It's a big name in comic books, and so I don't know if that was a thing or not, but that's what I thought anyways.
Yeah.
And then we got to see neighbor there attempting
Agnes,
to drive away. Yes, but she couldn't. And another good confrontation or like
so much
thing here with Vision, where she brings up the Avengers, revealed. Like, you're the Avengers, and he doesn't have any idea what the Avengers are. So he's like trying to like find out who he is. He's trying to do the right thing, not knowing what his past or, you know, that he was an Avenger or anything like that. And
well, and she tells him,
she
tells him, you know, you're dead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was also a big moment. Not only, you know, are you here to help us? You're an Avenger. Now he knows that there's something out there called the Avengers, you know, depending on where we go next. If we're actually going to move into like the early 2000s, you know, he can look it up on the World Wide Web at some point and figure out potentially who the Avengers are.
I think the Great Firewall of Wanda will be in enforcement.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, because they were able to get an email in.
Yeah.
Sword was. So we'll see what Vision can do to get a communication out. You know, now that although I think that the episode ends on, you know, another great question. You know, Wanda sucks Vision back in to Westview, and the presumption is he's going to be fine and alive and, you know, up and walking around the next episode. Though, you know, something could happen along the way. But if he is and he's fine again, is he going to have like a memory reset? Is he going to remember exactly what happened? Is this going to be another part where, you know, his memories have to start over again because he was dead or near death for however brief a moment outside of Westview? Or is he going to remember everything?
Well, if he's pulled from another reality, I mean, presumably his life events have been different. So you may remember things in a different fashion. Right. Are we getting hints of that with Quicksilver too? Like, did it seem like everything matched up, or were they just purposely leaving that kind of vague when Wanda was talking to him and stuff?
Yeah, that was really tough for me, because I felt like they almost skirted too much around answering anything in terms of Pietro. Like, I thought it was fun where, you know, we start off and we get the answer to the question. Okay, he's playing along with Wanda's, you know, like vision or whatever, like story that she's telling herself. You know what I mean? Like last week we had speculated, oh my God, is he going to burst in and he's going to act like Pietro, you know, Quicksilver from X-Men and just be like, hey, what am I doing here? Like, you know, I was just over with the X-Men and now I'm here.
Right. Exactly.
Like, so we kind of got an answer to the fact that, like, you know, okay, he's here to play along. You know, she does see him as her brother, but she also doesn't see him as her brother because she's so suspicious of him. And she says, like, where'd your accent go? Like, you know, and he's like, the last thing I remember was being shot in the street, which of course Quicksilver from X-Men wasn't, but Aaron Taylor Johnson's Marvel Quicksilver was. And she projects that onto him. When she sees him, she sees, you know, the bullet riddled body of her Marvel
Does
brother.
Does she project that on him, or is that like his true form revealing itself?
Right. So that was a little frustrating to me about this episode. What it was, I didn't feel like we got more of a clear cut, like, who exactly are you? Are you X-Men? Are you Marvel? Are you some like combination? Is she projecting? Is she pulling you out of, you know, like a multiverse, you know, and can recognize you but can't recognize you because that's the way it is, you know. There just wasn't quite enough. I quite enjoyed you know, when we were fully playing along with the story and he was like Uncle Pietro and he was like bonding with the twins and you know, I can't remember which twin has his powers and which twin has Wanda's. But like all of that was really fun to watch, and it was again like true to the comics where the twins do they're basically like kind of reincarnations of Wanda and Pietro in terms of powers anyway, not in terms of personality. But yeah, that was a little frustrating to leave that all on a cliffhanger as we muddy the waters.
The idea, maybe they don't know themselves still, you know. If Quicksilver's some sort of mashup between the two, and he's, you know, he's is confused himself, you know, split memories, you know. I don't know. To me, I guess the question everybody asks is, if this isn't leading to having this character that's from a different timeline, why use the actor?
Right.
It seems cheap to do it for fan service.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
I mean, it seems like a big commitment and a big thing that Marvel does not like to do, to take a character from something that was not part of their precious continuum and bring them in. Like that is the thing that is not something they are cool with, typically speaking. So it suggests a more meaningful thing. Otherwise, it's quite the it's a word I'm looking for. Quite the troll, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It'd be a troll on a pretty epic level.
And I don't think that would ultimately work out well for them.
No, I think people would be pretty upset. I mean, I would be for sure. Because like there's no point in bringing up this possibility just to snatch it away. At this point, like, you know, barring some sort of like ultimate schedule conflict or just total disinterest, what would be the point in not bringing Aaron Taylor Johnson back if you're just gonna like,
or recasting for the confusion, but just someone completely different?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, like if you know, you're not going to go with like Aaron Taylor Johnson, if you're going to do like this, you know, confusing thing in her subconscious, then just pick anybody. But it's hard because he's, you know, this Pietro has made no reference thus far, or no traceable reference to anything X-Men related. So it's hard to tell what exactly is going on there. So there's no hint of that we've gotten. And that's really what I'm hoping for in the next episode is, you know, now we brought him in. He's another character to like move the story forward. We need to do something big again to move the story forward.
Sure. Yeah. I'm a little stunned too that the Avengers themselves weren't called in for this at all, and Sword was let to do this, and that Sword was so incompetent in the general handling of everything, it seems.
Yeah, that director, he really is not doing much to dispel the notion that he is just an absolute dick.
Yeah, it's not working out for him. He managed to get out. He managed to be one of the few that escaped, it seems.
Yep. Fat lot of good it's gonna do.
Well, my thing is he's gonna have to go now. I mean, you're just gonna bring in a whole bunch of sword reinforcements, or are you gonna go to the next level? You're gonna say, all right, Shield, all right, Avengers,
right,
all right, Fantastic Four, or someone else. This is
Falcon
now
and
a
Winter
situation
Soldier.
that it's yeah. What
literal direct lead into their next show.
They're gonna do no good. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know. In the comics, there's in the mainline House of M graphic novel, it says they're trying to bring in the X-Men. There's a debate. What are we going to do with Wanda? And some of them are like, well, it's X-Men get to decide. She's a mutant. She's one of our own, So it made sense here that if she's an Avenger, they have to deal with one of their own here. This is on you guys, take care of this. Like, this is going to be a problem.
I mean, they've already talked about, well, at least Monica has talked about the fact that, like, how powerful she is, how powerful Wanda is. And as we get, at the end of this episode, this huge demonstration of her powers, who at this point is going to stop Wanda? What can they do? And what more can she do? She seems pretty bound and determined to have this play out the way that she wants it. What she wants at this point, maybe she doesn't even know truly herself, but she knows she wants to be left alone inside Westview, keeping all of this together and keeping Vision alive for the time being. And she's got the power to make it happen.
Yeah. Alan says waiting for Professor Xavier and Doctor Strange. Exactly. I mean, I could see that being the cliffhanger that the season ends on, is that Doctor Strange shows up.
Yeah.
All right. Doctor Strange is here. What's going to go on? This has become a larger threat.
Sure. Don't you think though, if he just shows up and nothing really like is resolved? I mean, I don't need like everything neatly bowed up and, gift wrapped, but I think there needs to be some sort of resolution in order for us to definitively say WandaVision is one season and done.
I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be.
What do you do with Scarlet Witch? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think she's the main player in Doctor Who. I think that.
You mean Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange, yeah. I think that we're going to see that. So we only got a couple episodes left. What was 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see that Sword is attempting to reach out to someone else now. For this is a bigger problem. We're going to see inside Monica Rambeau the blossoming of her powers, because going in keeps altering her cellular structure.
Right.
And then we're going to see Vision further attempting, so then next episode, then we start seeing maybe a team up, some sort of like attempt by Vision and Monica Rambeau and anyone else in there that they can kind of start to form some sort of plan that we can possibly do something here. And then in the last episode, you'll see them like attempt their little coup. It fail amazingly, and it just shatters Wanda. Like she like pushes things even further. She things start going haywire. Maybe pulling, she starts like literally splitting space-time, whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's when Doctor Strange shows up, and it says to be continued in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness this day in theaters or whatever. That's put my money down.
I could follow, I think, most of that. Do you know what I mean? Like I could go along with most of that. I think there's going to be some things that they're going to need to wrap up, like whether or not Vision lives or not. Do you know what I mean? Like they're going to have to like let him go or keep him on, in some fashion. They're going to have to resolve Vision by the end of the season in one way or another. And whether or not, we do anything in terms of like a second season of WandaVision with just Wanda, Or like you say, like her story wraps up in Doctor Strange. I could buy that for sure. But I don't think that one season of this is enough. And I don't think it's heading, unless these next 3 episodes like really just like book it in terms of pace. I don't think anything is going to be wrapped up enough to like completely let this go.
I think that what they needed, I think they had an idea for how this is all going to start, and they wanted to just show this in the Doctor Strange movie, but didn't have enough time to fit that into a movie.
Sure. And so they built out a TV show.
Yeah. So let's have a TV show where we can take our time to explain how this comes to be, like how world ends up getting in such an effed up mess that like to this point. Whereas if otherwise we have a Doctor Strange movie and we want to bring in mutants, incorporate other parts of the universe, fracture things, and we can really play with time and reshape the universe how we want to go forward with now. But man, that's a lot of setup for this film. And so I think that's the sole purpose of this show. And I agree that like it'd be nice to have answers on Vision and Quicksilver. And I think we will. I think, maybe we see them. Yeah.
There's just not a lot of time left is my only point.
Yes. Right. Yep. Unless they're planning to do a season 2 before Doctor Strange comes out. Right. I could see that, but I don't want them to linger that long. Like that's my opinion. I don't want them to. I do want to see these next few episodes like just hit it.
Book it. Yeah.
You don't need to spend the time playing around with a TV theme show. Like you as much as I enjoyed that here, you just go. Things got to happen. We need to know. It's gonna.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I liked episodes 4 and 5 so much. Like we had sort of moved into like the go of the season, and then this felt like a little bit of a bridge, but also a little step back in terms of pace. Like, do I think things were still revealed and we still got like major surprises and major, characters moving forward? Absolutely. But I could have maybe had a little less of the like opening, like sitcom-y 90s, like we're dressed up for Halloween, and a little more like delving into Quicksilver being here, or Vision, like, one more thing happening to Vision or to Wanda, or, I don't know. That would just move it forward a little bit.
What I'm feeling here, I think, is my general nervousness that people can't seem to structure anything these days in an appropriate manner. But I think they have it for this show. Yeah. I think they really have their plan, their episode structure. It's not that long. I think they've got it on lock, and all the important reveals are spaced. And so I'm choosing at this point to have faith that they know what they're doing here, and we're gonna get the reveals that they want us to have, and so
yeah, I hope so, because it's getting to that point where we need to, I think, make some decisions. Or, well, not we, but the writers do need to make some decisions about how they're going to be connecting this, not only potentially to Doctor Strange, but if there's if we're seeing any connection to the next release coming out, if there is anything to jump to Falcon and Winter Soldier, if these are completely separate, kind of what, pick a lane now. We've just got to like pick a lane for the resolution in terms of, where is this bridging to next? Because you're right. It is Marvel. They always have a plan. They do bridge from one thing to the next. They like to have like the setup and, this was revealed, over here, which is how this connects to X, Y, and Z. But I think we need to see that now coming to fruition in these last 3 episodes in a big way.
Yep. Well, we're wrapping up, but Icy Senpai is in the chat. Welcome to the stream. He says, who's ready for X-Men and Fantastic Four to be in the MCU? I definitely am.
are.
Yep. We're very ready for that. I hope that they handle it well. I'm excited that we have just the glimmers of hope here with Quicksilver. And yeah, I am tentative but excited about the future of Marvel, and I've been pretty happy with this show thus far. So, couple days for the next one. Here we go.
Yeah, it does make me wonder, with all the delays that have been happening around, COVID, if, plans for things like WandaVision were supposed to lead, more directly to if it's Doctor Strange, for instance, if they were supposed to lead more directly, but now because of like filming gaps, they've had to push back the release of Doctor Strange, and now like Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming in as the next Disney release.
Oh, you just mean time-wise?
Yeah. So I wonder somewhat if that's messed with, any of their like timing of releases. Not that it still can't work out, but just things aren't exactly the way that they had envisioned.
Yeah.
Because obviously like Black Widow was supposed to be out a long, long time ago.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I think that it's, I hope that they have their streaming service that's established now and doing very well, that they're going to be willing to just go ahead and put it on there.
That they can shuffle things around and still like stick to a plan. Yeah, I agree. Yep. But it does make me wonder, obviously because Doctor Strange is not coming out yet, and the next thing is Falcon and Winter Soldier. So, is there any sort of like rhyme or reason to that? Is it just the next thing that was ready? Are we getting a tie-in somehow? So.
Yep. I think that I'll be happy if they do this. And then it's Winter Soldier, Falcon, then maybe Black Widow movie, then Doctor Strange. Like I'm okay with that. Yeah. We had to wait plenty of times for cliffhanger movies, Matrix Reloaded to the Matrix Revelations 6-month gap. Star Wars Episode 5 to Episode 6. That was a couple years, so I had to wait. But
yeah, and I know Marvel doesn't always like directly introduce, the next character that's going to have like their standalone film. They didn't in like the first phase of the MCU where, everybody was kind of like introduced one right after another. I know that doesn't always immediately directly tie, but it's hard not to feel that sense of setup because of the way that Marvel's done things for the most part. So yeah, I'm excited. 2 days until we learn, hopefully, at least a little bit more about what Quicksilver is doing here. Which Quicksilver is this? Is this actually, someone that Wanda maybe pulled out of the multiverse? And as implanted here, is this a figment of her imagination? What is Quicksilver at this point?
Yep. All right. Well, Alan's let us know we've reached the 2-hour mark. I mean, I thought we didn't have all that many things to talk about, but
we always have more than we think.
I know. My eyes are going cross looking at this run of notes here.
Quick before we go, Icy Senpai wants to know if we believe Aaron Johnson would come back as Pietro.
I mean, I think that if they asked him, he would.
Yeah. Like if we're talking about the actor.
I have nothing to suggest why you wouldn't take the Marvel job, I guess. Again, unless he really didn't get on with Olsen, or something.
Yeah.
But
and I think WandaVision's been rating well. You know what I mean? Like it would be a good gig. I don't see why as an actor you wouldn't.
But do I think that version will come back? I don't think so. I think they would have done it here if they were going to. I'm choosing to believe that they had a greater purpose in going the route that they did. So,
yeah, like we talked about, there's no point in bringing Evan Peters on to do this if you're just going to troll fans with, look, it's this version of Quicksilver rather than Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Especially when he's like the fan favorite.
He is, yeah.
You know?
Aaron Taylor Johnson got the short end of that stick, unfortunately.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with his Quicksilver. There's nothing wrong with his Pietro. I didn't like hate him. You know, I didn't think it was terribly cast. I feel like his character got the short end of the stick. He wasn't that interesting. They didn't do a very good job. And unfortunately he's in what I deem the weakest of the Avenger movies.
Right.
So.
Yep. Well, exciting stuff. Something to look forward to. Yeah. Housewives tonight. A couple days to this.
From one domestic drama to another.
Yeah. We talked lots of anime earlier, Icy. So, I mean, I don't know if you're into anime, but Senpai suggests that I may be able to deduce such a thing.
Good detective skills, John.
Yeah, I know. Where's my pipe and hat? Your soccer.
You got a scarf, so I was just thinking you should like toss that and be, smoking your pipe.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well done.
So thanks for joining us, Icy and Mike earlier. Thanks for popping in on the live stream. We've been doing this every Wednesday, generally 7:30 p.m. Central Time. I feel like I can say that. I should be saying that now. We had schedules kind of all over before, but it's been pretty consistent now here. So, that's when you can catch us. I am often on Fridays streaming with my brother-in-law, Lucas333 on Twitch, playing some games. Thank you, Icy Senpai, for the follow. Much appreciated. You can find all of our videos on YouTube as well. You can also find our accounts on Twitter and Facebook and all those things. And of course, the audio version of this is on your favorite podcast directory. If it's not, you can let us know, but we've got most of the big ones taken care of. So thank you to Killing the Flower for a theme song. Their stuff is on YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram. So take a look at them. Am I missing anything else to plug? I feel like that's about what it is.
No, I think you covered all the usual hits.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We look forward to seeing you next week then, Icy Senpai. It gives you some time to let the episode sink in, think about it, see what others say about it, and then you can come here and join us for our final conversation before the next episode. So
that's right.
Good
way to get you amped for the next episode.
I know, right? You kind of almost start to forget everything that's going on, and then you get to kind of recap it and get ready to go again. So.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, that'll do it. Thank you. My name is John, as it says on the screen, and you're Andrea. Thanks for joining me once again.
Of course. Cheers, everybody.